Residential solar, now or never. Increasing costs, changing laws, net metering caps, and loss of federal rebates are quickly altering the economics of residential solar. The price of solar panels per watt generated has fallen over 75% in the last decade. The decrease is due to increasing efficiency, but most of that improvement is behind us. Annual price reductions for solar panels per watt have fallen to under 2%, and the cost of solar panels as a percentage of total cost for installation is now less than 30%. Over the last decade, solar panels have almost doubled their energy output while falling 100% in price, but now it's a mature industry where rising material costs, factory overhead, declining improvements, and complex manufacturing processes has ended price declines. While improvements will continue to be in the 3 to 5% annual range, they will no longer be a driver of acceptance of residential solar power. One of the greatest increases is both domestic and international shipping costs. Panels are large and heavy. Overseas container costs have exploded, up 221% in 2 years. Shipping alone is now $30 per solar panel. For homeowners, the most important number is the total installed cost. From 2000 to 2019, average installation cost has fallen from $80,000 to $25,000. Great success, but that trend is now over. When charted, most of the decline was earlier in the decade. The past few years has seen cost decline stall and even start to rise. While panels are the key to any solar installation, they are a minority of the expense. Soft costs such as labor, permitting, and fees are 65% of the total. These soft costs are now starting to rise quickly. Growing number of residential solar installations is a paradox for utility companies. More success leads to greater failure. Utilities can buy back or net meter only a finite amount of electricity. Regardless of how much electricity generated, utilities have substantial distribution costs, which include generation plants, distribution network, and substantial labor costs. Unless you have 100% battery backup, you will be tied to the grid. On average, the utility company must supply power 2/3 of the day. Most household demand falls in early morning and in the evening. If you net meter or sell electricity to the power company, it will be midday when the power company has a surplus. In a simple example with 5 homes, $100 distribution cost, as each home adds solar, the remaining homes must shoulder more and more of the distribution expense. Eventually, the utility system fails. For this reason, states have net metering caps, limiting power utilities must buy. Recognizing trends, utility companies are switching their generation capacity to alternative energy sources such as utility-scale solar and wind turbines. Today, it is less expensive to build a solar farm than a fossil fuel-fired plant. Currently, there are only 2 nuclear plants under construction. Hundreds of coal-fired plants have been decommissioned. Cleaner gas plants generate a majority of electricity, and thousands of utility-scale solar plants have been added. Massive wind turbines, where a single rotation of their blades can power a house for a day, are being built offshore. In 1917, Nikola Tesla designed the first major power plant at Niagara Falls. It delivered power across the state to New York City. Ever since then, power utilities have excelled at distributing electricity. The ability to place power generation such as utility-scale solar near its use makes it easier. Consumers can now purchase green power as an option on their monthly bills. Increasingly, green power is less expensive per megawatt hour. Residential solar is actually now the most expensive option. Residential solar has been encouraged with generous federal and state tax credits over the past decade. The credits have subsidized as much as 31% of the installation of a residential solar power system. Originally set to expire in 2021, they have been extended to 2024 when they end. The loss of a 24% tax credit extends the payback period for an installation by the same amount. Tax credits be extended. Tax credits for electric vehicles was a boon for companies like Tesla. American taxpayers subsidized over $1.5 billion toward the purchase of Tesla's luxury EVs. Studies show that residential solar tax credits now go to the wealthiest households. The question is, should the federal government subsidize appreciation real estate values for households earning in excess of $75,000? For homeowners in dense urban neighborhoods who can neither afford the $24,000 average installation cost nor the monthly lease payments, Residential solar tax credits have no benefit, just the opposite. Lower income households will more likely have to assume greater distribution costs as residential solar expands. With utility scale half the cost of residential solar and options for homeowners to specify green power, residential solar tax credits are most likely gone. Federal tax dollars in the new infrastructure plan are earmarked to improving the nation's electrical grid and expanding utility-scale green energy generation. If you plan to install residential solar, now is better than later. Utility scale, if not now, will soon be the better option.